അടുത്തതായി സെറിബ്രൽ പാൽസിയിൽ ഫിസിയോതെറാപ്പിയുടെ പങ്കിനെക്കുറിച്ച് നമുക്ക് മനസ്സിലാക്കി തരുന്നതിനായി IAP കർണാടക ജോയിന്റ് സെക്രട്ടറിയും ഡോക്ടർ എം ഇ ഷെട്ടി കോളേജ് വൈസ് പ്രിൻസിപ്പളുമായ ഡോക്ടർ വൈശാലി ശ്രീജിത്തിനെ ക്ഷണിച്ചുകൊള്ളുന്നു. ശരി മാം, ഓവർ ടു യു.
Yeah, thank you, Janil.
Thank you.
Namaskaram. Very good afternoon to everybody. And it's extremely a great moment for me to be here today and to share a few words about cerebral palsy in the aspect of physiotherapy with you all. What I have seen over the years in this field, when we come to treat a cerebral palsy case, it's like we have to give a lot of ourselves into this to rehabilitate the child, to make the child be one of them in the society. Like how one of our Sham sir, I heard his talk, it was absolutely inspiring. And also Amal, I would say it's truly inspiring. So many cases are there where we have to work hard and bring them into this society and make them feel like one of us and not to make them feel some specially abled child. We have to give them equal opportunities like what the normal people get. And our aim is to mainly make them able in their maximum possible capacities or capabilities and to make them work with us. So basically what today I've been told to talk from Janil is about cerebral palsy. I thank Akara Foundation for giving me an opportunity to share a few words here. So the definition, I would like to say, what is cerebral palsy? It is considered as a neurological disorder, and it is caused by a non-progressive brain injury or a malformation that occurs when the child's brain is under the development. Basically, the cerebral palsy, it consists of mainly the movement disorders and the postural disorder, and it will primarily affect the movement and the muscle coordination. And worldwide, the cerebral palsy incidence there will be like 2 to 2.5 per 1,000 live births. So we cannot consider it as common. It is not considered as uncommon. So it is commonly seen. And the next, what are the causes? So causes of cerebral palsy, mainly low birth weight. When the child is born, if the birth weight is low, it will be causing up to 35 to 40% of the causes for cerebral palsy. Metabolic disorders, some infections like maybe a brain fever or encephalitis, meningitis, any kind of infections. Congenital brain abnormality, that is when the child is inside the womb of the mother and there's some brain abnormalities can occur. Or intrapartum asphyxia, that is when the delivery is happening and during the labor, if the child is having deficiency in the oxygen, that also can cause cerebral palsy. And also intrauterine ischemic event or a genetics. Sometimes it runs in the family, genetical or a chromosomal disorder, and also some other maternal factors. Then before birth, congenital, when the baby is inside the womb of the mother, there can be abnormalities or any kind of trauma to the parents. Like it will also cause some brain development, abnormalities in the brain development. And during birth, that is during delivery, deficiency of oxygen, it can also cause a brain hemorrhage can happen. And after birth, that is after the child is born, in the developmental stage of the child, there can be an infection to the brain. So these are some of the causes. So what are the affected areas in cerebral palsy is? Mainly movement is affected, vision is affected, then balance will be affected, communication will be affected, learning will be affected, speech will be affected, and behavioral changes will be there. Now, signs of cerebral palsy, there will be floppy posture as in muscle tone will be completely absent, hypotonicity, child will be hanging in upside down position in a U shape, and there will be no movement and the head will be dropping down. Stiff posture again, when the posture is stiffened, the body is stiffened, and arching of the trunk can be seen, twisting of the legs, which is commonly seen when you see a CP child. This is one of the most common feature that you see. And there is excessive lethargy or irritability, and high-pitched cry will be there, poor head control will be there, and feeding difficulties. It could be very difficult for the mothers to feed the children because of the feeding difficulties. All the muscles around their facial muscles will be so weak, and tongue thrust will be there. So these are the classical signs of CP. Now, types of CP, mainly it is 4 types are there. There is spastic type, there is dyskinetic type, there is ataxic type, and there is mixed, all the mixture of these 3. So in the spastic type, what you see is increased muscle tone. The muscles will be very tight and will be contracted, will be tensed, and they have a stiff and jerky, awkward movements will be present, and the limbs will be usually underdeveloped. There will be the reflexes in the body, the deep tendon reflexes, they will be increased. And this spastic CP is commonly seen. It will be like 70 to 80% of the cases will have this spastic CP. And then we have the dyskinetic CP. So there is fluctuating muscle tone in the dyskinetic CP, and involuntary movements will be there. And these movements, they disappear during the sleep and they increase with stress. It interferes with the speaking, feeding and reaching, grabbing, other skills. Around 20% of the CP cases will be dyskinetic type. And ataxic CP, the third type, what I said, it will be mainly damaging the cerebellum, the part of the brain. So here, to maintain the child balance is mostly affected. The child will be walking with bent forwards and the feet will be wide apart and they take irregular steps. There will be poor balance and lack of coordination as well. And there is a tendency to fall and also stumble. The child will not be able to walk in a straight line. So this is around 5 to 10% of the cases will be ataxic CP. It will be not, other functions of the brain won't be affected. It will be affecting only the balance. The other functions of the brain like speech, hearing, and behavioral, these changes, it won't be affected. Only the cerebellum area will be affected. And next we have the mixed type of CP, that is a combination of all the 3. It involves like multiple areas of brain. It is like most of the areas of the brain will be affected and balance will be poor. Ethetosis will be present, like movement disorders will be there. So other associated problems with the CP, what we usually see is intellectual disability will be there. And in some cases, the child will be non-ambulate. The child will be not able to move around. Hip displacement will be there, and behavioral disorders, bladder incontinence, like they will be not having a control over their bladder. Sleep disorders and some hearing impairment will be seen. Sensory motor development. So what happens sensory thing is the auditory, that is hearing, smell, and vision, tactile, vestibular, and all these, it will be impaired. Sensitivity will be high. Sometimes it will be oversensitivity. Sometimes it will be undersensitivity. So few children, they'll be having so much of social problems. They won't be able to mingle with others. Even a hug from a parent, it will be very uncomfortable for the child. Next is the challenges they face. The CP children, whatever challenges, each system, how it is affected, like tactile systems, that is their touch, and the vestibular system, balance, proprioceptive system, hearing issues, visual impairments, motor system will be affected, musculoskeletal system will be affected, the respiratory system will be affected. So each and every system in the body will have difficulties with their particular system. So tactile system, what we say is it receives sensation. So sensations of pressure, pain, temperature, and they also avoid being in group. They can't be physically close to others. They'll be withdrawing, social withdrawal symptoms will be there. And next one, vestibular, as I said, balance, which is very important. They will decreased balance will be there, arousal changes will be there, head control won't be present, movement will be inaccurate, and coordination of eyes, there will be insufficient coordination of the eyes. Proprioceptive system, again, they won't have a sense of their body in the space, and the body, they won't understand where their muscle is situated, where the joints is situated. It will be completely affected. Hearing issues, mostly 7% of the CP cases, they'll have hearing. Profound hearing will be our main goal in rehabilitation. So physical therapy, mainly it will focusing on improving the coordination, to improve the balance, to improve the strength of the muscles, to improve the flexibility, to improve the endurance, to improve posture, to improve the walking pattern or the gait, what we say. Also their oral health, and pain management, activities of their daily living, like, they have to perform their activities, try to make them perform their activities on their own. So the three things for the muscles, what we can do is elongation, activation, alignment. Elongation is, if there is any tightened muscle structure, we can stretch them and elongate them. Activation. So when you stretch them, automatically the activation will be starting in the muscles. They strengthen the correct muscles required to perform functional activity. And then alignment. Alignment is to bring the body in a proper aligned posture or a correct posture. To correct their wrong posture is the main thing, what we do. Movements which we can do, lateral movements, that side swaying, rotational movements can be done, and weight shifting, trying to make the baby stand in a stand in the standing position and ask them to do weight shifting, and also movement through small ranges, like we can do small movements, flexing the hand movement from the midline, away from the midline, and also improve their coordinated movements. Strengthening for the oral health, that is chin tucking exercises, we can give blowing activities and our dorsiflex strengthening to the ankle joint, kneeling, and also isolated strengthening like back muscles, shoulder muscles, and make them stand independently and make them stand against a wall with the trunk control, and prone lying in the weight bearing like push-ups and gym ball exercises. And also some after strengthening, gait training. Gait training is the way you walk, how we can make the patient to be better, to walk. We have to make them to do is make them able to sit from floor to stool, like, and improve their walking balance. We can also be making them to sit without support, maintain standing position with minimal support, make them walk with minimal support, weight shifting, and some ankle foot orthosis and other braces you can use. Also maintain the alignment in sitting and standing. So these are mainly, and one more thing what we have also is parental advice. So when we get a child of CP, നമ്മൾ ആദ്യമായിട്ട് ഒരു പേരന്റിന് കൗൺസിൽ ചെയ്യും. More than the child, a parent has a role in handling a child. So when the parent is actually active and ഒരു interest ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ, if the parent take a lot of interest in developing the child, അപ്പോൾ the child can definitely make a difference. You very easily find a difference. So the involvement of parents in treating, in the rehabilitation stage of a CP child is very important. There are some parents who actually give a lot of importance to these things, but also on the other side, if you see, there are some parents who feel that no, they have other kids to take care, they ignore this kind of child. But that is not. Parental advice is very important, and even at home, when the child is at home, make the child to tummy time, like make him lie down on the stomach, optimize weight loading, make them aware of the body, maintain their sitting and standing and position with the pillows. So parents also play a very important role in handling the CP child. So main item for all, like as a physical therapy, it's very important for all of us, the society, to accept. And CP is not a condition where it is to be considered okay, we have to look down and illangil pavam, like these kind of things. We should not have feelings towards the child. We have to see them like one of us, make them, train them, and make them do the activities within their capabilities, and also bring them to a normalcy and make them feel they are not different. Some CP not all children who are having cerebral palsy have been mentally affected or something like that. There are some few people who have not been mentally, and their mental status will be very good. Only their movement will be problem, or they'll have some coordination problems. So all these kind of things we have to recognize and bring them back, make them feel in the society, make them part of the society, and train them. So this is what my main advice I would like to give, and it's ellarigum. Thank you for listening. Maybe in English will samsarichu, and my Malayalam is not that good, but at least I hope you could understand something on what we train, how we train the CP child and make them. But again, I would like to say it's not only a part of a physical therapist, but also the family of the children as well as the society who has to accept. And recovery, definitely, it's a the road to recovery in a CP, it is very difficult. But once you attain, you will feel it is worth it. So thank you so much. Thank you, Janil.
Thank you, ma'am.